Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. I am Pete Titans Creed Netherco, always joined by my faithful cohorts in crime. One, Mr. John Turbo Finley. How you doing, sir?
Greetings.
And one, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva, who is our new LMKO prediction champion with that shiny belt there that John has so gratefully donated round, and it will somehow make its way to Kevin. Whether we do that once a year for WrestleMania because it's Mania,
sounds.
or
I think once a year,
every month.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes, fly,
I would
fly the belt, John. Fly the belt to all of us.
Indeed.
Yes, isn't it shiny, everybody?
It's very shiny.
It is very shiny. It's like shame I don't have any kind of like video tracking editing skills where I could just simply just pass it through the side of the screen and it's just like bring it over there.
If I go like this, and Pete, if you go to your left, I think, and if John goes to his right.
All right. Well,
there we go.
It's gonna be very difficult.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, Pete. Pass it over, Pete. Pass it over. Okay. Okay. I've clearly got it. It's here now.
Yeah. There we go. It's travelled from the north, the way north, to the south.
Overshot. Gone south.
We come back. But yes, we are here talking about the showcase of the Immortals pre-show.
The pre-show. The pre-show of the people to come and aren't as important as those to come.
Well, I don't know. There was some moments on the pre-show. There were definitely some moments.
I was mainly focusing on the matches myself, but anything of notoriety for certain. Well, actually, I lied. There is a couple of other certain moments in the pre-show that I found hilarious.
I mean, let's start with the other than the hour or like however long the opening video packages were. We did have the men's battle royal, which Mr. Kevin and I called correctly, with one
indeed
Matthew Hardy winning with the return of Senior Wyatt.
Senior Wyatt,
which I'm looking forward to. Will they go for the tag team championships and destroy a small child? Who knows? that will be super cool to see. Gentlemen,
I wouldn't say. I'm more kind of like scaring him more so than breaking him. But hey, never mind.
Well, people have already been saying if this isn't a setup for King Maxwell,
I don't know what it is. But yes, gentlemen, thoughts on the men's battle royal, and I'm going to call it the men's battle royal because I think that's a fairer way to call it rather than the Andre the Giant battle royal. So the men's battle royal.
Andre the person. Andre the golden idol that talks. We should probably refer to him as. It was a serviceable one, I think.
I think it was fun. It did its normal stuff.
There was a horrendous moment I saw where a well-known performer horrendously embarrassed himself and immediately turned heel. But I'm sure Goldust will never do the dab again, so it's fine. There was lots of little moments, wasn't there? Lots of little good bits. We had some continuations of feuds, like the.
If they're gonna try and push it as a mini Royal Rumble, they really need to focus more on creating new feuds and ending them, like they did with the whole Miz thing way back in the day. It just needs to be a thing that they need to do.
Oh, Miz and Sandow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even they don't remember that. WWE
of course
not. That because it involved Sandow. I was in that period of we don't really give a damn what the Miz is doing. So, but I mean, things that were in terms of feuds, we had the Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley.
Yes, that was a big thing they pushed on. Considering we haven't seen Zack Ryder in forever. Woo, woo, woo.
You know it.
You know it. I don't know what they want to do with Zack Ryder anymore. I honestly don't.
I don't think they do either.
Well, he's kind of like
seems to be a shill for Funko Pops at the moment.
Yeah, well, he is pretty much WWE shill advertising magnet with the toys and whatnot, especially on the YouTube channel. So,
I mean, the man has a job for life because he's very good with his personality.
Yeah,
but yeah, otherwise, I enjoyed the men's battle royal for what it was.
Yeah.
It was okay in my book. John,
yeah, I have to agree with. Yeah, I have to agree with that. It was relatively good, and the surprise at the end where Bray Wyatt came out of nowhere. It was kind of weird how even the timekeeper's error is like, am I supposed to ring the bell? It's like, there's still two people in the screen. It's like, no, you're supposed to ring the bell. Wyatt's not in the match. Okay, ding, 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 ding. So yeah.
Happily, happily you had to perform
that I didn't have a chance of winning because Mark Henry wasn't even in the bloody match.
I forgot that you picked somebody who wasn't even in the thing. Oh well. You mentioned the confusion at the end. It was in a way helpful that we had a character like Woken Matt.
Yeah.
There who could actually play into the confusion. Oh, what is it? What's going on?
I think
it was wonderful.
I'll be honest. They did a good job by going back to a sealed arena, because if they hadn't have done that, they wouldn't have been able to pull that off.
Well, that's going.
I know. That's why I segued into it, Kev, because I knew you had something to say on the matter.
Wasn't it lovely, everybody, that we went back to an indoor arena? Well, forget that again, because we're going to MetLife Arena for WrestleMania 35, and it's outdoor again, so... so all the entrances are going to be screwy, and there's still a chance... I'm kind of almost hoping that one day there's going to be a WrestleMania in an outdoor arena, and they actually get caught out.
What do you mean?
And it absolutely tonks it down.
I mean, don't all of those open air arenas have remote closable lids anyway?
All of them. It rains.
Fair enough. I was just under the impression that was a thing. Never mind. Ignore me. But yes.
Ask the Undertaker if he can move all the clouds with his powers.
Well, they'll just make an imaginary lightning bolt happen. Moving swiftly on to the Cruiserweight Championship. Not a very hype match, but I think that's because 205 Live is... It's odd, because this is how I see it as someone who tries to watch WWE programming every week, right? I don't have Sky Sports. I don't have access to the normal ability to watch Raw and SmackDown as they're live or record it. So I have to go to dubious means to play catch up on the show. Whereas 205 Live is on the network, and I do pay for the network because it's £10 and there's a lot of stuff on there. But I don't watch it because the SmackDown and Raw are on the network, and it's not like a matter I can watch SmackDown and then go straight to 205 Live. It's one of those weird things. I have access, but I don't watch it because the other stuff's not there, so I don't follow in and watch it. So I think a lot of people don't watch 205 Live, and that's the annoying thing. I feel like it should be recorded and buffer out a week of wrestling, but again, it goes back to the point of having both Raw and SmackDown on the network, which isn't going to happen until whenever the contracts that they've currently got even get close to expiring.
Well, they're getting close to expiring, and the news is that Fox is keener to keep WWE than it is to keep UFC, which has gone down well. but they see they can get more out of that. So it looks like that's going to be renewed because they're going to just throw money at WWE.
Yeah, but
like it needs it.
A new contract does mean that they can re-establish the rules and go, we'll simulcast.
They're not going to do that.
No.
As much as that would be great for the that would be great for the consumer, but they're not going to do that.
I mean, it's better than having a month delay on stuff. Even if it was just it shown on Fox and then uploaded to the network 2 days later.
Like how they do it with Hulu in the US.
Yeah, well, they cut so much shit out of it. But like, even if it's uploaded 24 hours later, that they're doing wonders for the worldwide consumer base instead of just. But I mean, I don't know when the Sky Sports contract's up because obviously they've had rights on WWE shit for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I was able to come home from work and watch it legally, which I would much more prefer to do, I'd rather watch it on something that I pay for. Because I don't need Sky Sports. I don't want to pay a massive thing to watch. I'm not interested in football or anything else. I just want to watch the wrestling. I'm not going to pay an entire thing just to go and.
There was a wrestling package back in the day, wasn't there, on Sky Sports?
Yeah, there was when there was more stuff available on all the other channels. But yes, people don't seem to be into it, and it's not like it was. I know it was obviously sandwiched, so we wouldn't have two Battle Royals back to back. But it's under the annoying pretense that no one's really hyped for it. It was a good match to watch, but I don't think anybody was really interested.
Part of the issue, I think, with that is that 205 Live is still in the process of restructuring what 205 Live is. Because they've sort of been kneecapped twice in a row.
Yeah.
With what they're doing, and they're still trying to figure out, okay, who's in what position on the card, even within it. So it ended up being a match that was a showcase match for the brand, as opposed to major high stakes. Even though the belt was involved, it wasn't like major high stakes really. And it was a match for enjoyment's sake. It was interesting that they chose to, honor Mortal Kombat in the way they did, but
or WCW.
Or WCW. We're not sure. We're not sure.
Ed Boon did go and fucking wade in on the matter on Twitter today, didn't he?
Ed Boon probably did, actually. It was.
Yeah, it's odd. Who knows? I ain't got a clue anymore.
Hulu knows. Hulu actually got a shout out. Well done, Hulu. Yeah, they remembered you at WrestleMania.
Do you know what else got a shout out, Kev?
VR did.
Yeah.
I know because I'm halfway through writing an article about it.
So did everybody's favourite car game.
Yes, and it wasn't. You know what? They thought about it, and after thinking about it for about 15 seconds, they decided that what if it ain't fixed, let's break it. And welcome everybody to the showcase of the same goddamn Rocket League ads we've been seeing for the past however long. Yeah. Take the shot. Look, dude who has the football. She's just gonna bring in a car. Forget it. Pass to somebody else.
I'll tell you this much: it wasn't the most repetitive ad of the night.
Are you alluding
or the weekend, for that matter?
Are you alluding to the Paige, perchance?
Oh yeah, the massive Paige that was
mate. That advert
over and over and over again.
That advert.
Hi, Paige here.
No, Kev, you forgot
it. You didn't see him go right into the camera.
Oh no, I did. It was more like. "Hi guys, it's Paige," like with the long delay, and it was, oh my god.
Oh, bless her, they're keeping her busy.
Like, I understand why they're using her to promote, and I understand that part of the reason that film's been made is why she's still with WWE. But yeah, it leads into a good segue into another Mr. Talking Point that I know Mr. Kevin would like to make on the Women's Battle Royal and what happened just before it. Mr. Kevin, unleash the rant.
Michael Cole, you absolute semen stain. What the fuck were you thinking? And if it wasn't you, okay, what the hell was idiots in the back, monkeys on the mic, in his ear? What the heck were they thinking? Okay, so if you missed this, and I wouldn't blame you if you did, because it was in the opening bit for the Women's Battle Royal, and we'll get onto that obviously straight after this. But you had a situation where you had the commentary team, and they were joined by Beth Phoenix, who was good value, I thought, throughout. And then you also had Paige there, so you had a sort of connection to the past and the present of women's wrestling, as it were. And in the introduction to everything, Michael Cole sort of turns to Paige and goes, "Say, so you're injured and won't be able to take part in this year's one?" To which Paige just sort of looks at him, as you could see her. You know the Simpsons gag where it's like you can see the exact moment when Ralph Wiggum's heart breaks. You can do the exact same thing.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't given that up.
The exact.
It'll probably be featured on Botchamania. Trust me.
The exact moment you see Paige's heart break, because yes, she is injured. She's probably never going to wrestle again. In fact, it's like 99% certain she'll never be able to wrestle again. The woman is devastated. And what you did, Michael Cole, you absolute fuckwit, is basically take that on live TV, go right in her face with it. And unsurprisingly, there was just a very, very quiet response of, maybe next year. At which point, it all went slightly quiet. The camera zooms in on Paige's face as she tries desperately not to cry. Look, if you have learnt anything from... Sharpen the knife, John. Sharpen it up.
Here you go, Cole. You might want to use it in this.
Stab it in. Stab it in the back. Stab it in the back, through the heart, out through the front again, and then hang a sign on it saying, "This lady can't compete." In a situation, WWE, where you've had to deal with quite a few instances over the last, let's say, 10 years of wrestlers who have had to retire early. Heck, you had a freaking major story about one of said wrestlers managing to do a miraculous comeback that we're all thankful for.
Yes.
In that time, you will have noticed Daniel Bryan talking about the mental challenges of having to get over that, the potential depression that these wrestlers have and having to deal with, that the thing they have dedicated to their lives to, they will not be able to do again. How freaking helpful is it to Paige to literally make practically a jocular comment about it? Just no tact, no sense, no forethought at all. How is that exactly going to help Paige get over this? I mean, she's out there to sort of feel a part of it, and you've just taken it straight away from her before it even begins. Funnily enough, she didn't talk that much throughout the thing because she's trying to, she shot her voice out of Access, apparently, for one reason. But you know, funny enough, hell, she wasn't going to inject much after that, funnily enough. It is a very delicate subject. And it is something that people will struggle with in no matter what line of work they do. For the love of God, don't do something like that again. Because you've taken something that was meant to help somebody feel a part of it and made it into something that actually has made them feel 1,000 times worse on live TV. Well done. Boys, you.
Michael calls a dickhead.
Yep. And whoever was in his ear who fed him that line, or whoever wrote it in that script, can jump off a cliff.
I think Michael Cole needs to be, for someone who is supposedly this wartime reporter, you would assume would have had a little bit more tact in being able to talk to people about stressy situations and anxious situations and everything else. And it really is disappointing. Now, guaranteed it's going to be something that's, you know, a question that she probably does get asked, but not by a work colleague, essentially, you know, regardless of... And it's been a big thing I've noticed over a lot of this WrestleMania weekend on the multiple shows about how the broadcast team are calling themselves broadcasters rather than superstars or anything else, even though, you know, they're technically classed as superstars or what the fuck ever they want to do there specifically. But that shouldn't remove the basis of common sense and humanity away from themselves to ask another human being a decent question.
We've seen this a couple of times, actually, with Cole, I think, in the last 6 months. Remember back in the day, because obviously he did push back quite a lot, or he used to, on matters where he did take a stand on some stuff during breaks and said, I don't think that helps. And every time he's been, you know, pummeled down. And I think it's a case that after such a long tenure with WWE and having that in his ear for so long, he's almost like he's lost his filter with age.
I'll be honest, I think a big part of that problem is going to have been JBL. For someone that has worked with JBL for the longest time, he was very much in his corner when all the allegations and stuff like that came out. So that's definitely not going to have helped with anybody's sort of filter switch. But
JBL was on the pre-show. How good to see him again.
Hashtag fire JBL.
Hashtag refire JBL.
Hashtag never hire JBL.
Like,
I hope
stick
that
with the rugby.
I hope that the only time I ever hear about JBL again is going to be when he is inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that'll be it. Because quite frankly, the man is a disgrace. Yeah, but moving on. Women's Battle Royal.
Yes, indeed. Some interesting points. I think we had the first LGBT competitor to compete at WrestleMania on the women's side. Is this correct?
I wasn't sure of that, but if so, yeah, that's good.
I can't remember the superstar's name, but it was one of the ladies wearing the numerous rainbow colours. But that was a point.
I do have a point that I do want to argue about the women's battle royal. Please make the women stop sounding like they're fighting over bitchy things. Becky Lynch, I'm quite sure you don't want to beat up a woman because she's wearing orange. Orange is your colour. You're
Yes.
orange.
Yeah, I was kind of.
I mean, are you going to go and fight Sheamus? Is that why he's got silver tint in his hair? At
yeah, that's why he quickly added it on to just go, crikey, Becky.
I don't want to fight Becky Lynch. She's orange. You're going to go onto the Muppets? You're going to fight fucking Beaker? Like, what the actual fuck?
You're
going to go fight
for the love of God, for the love of God, no one introduce her to the Netherlands. Will international incident. Oh man.
Well, she could take on Carrot Top for all I care then.
Was he on the pre-show as well? Our old friend.
Aye, who froze up quite badly on that one segment.
Oh, did he buffer? Oh, what a shame.
Aye.
What a shame. Going
back to the women's battle royal. I like the NXT representation there. It's like it was real good representation. I just didn't like how it started. That was the problem. They were kind of like just going out one at a time. It's like first Carmella gets chucked out, and then who was after that? I can't mind.
I don't remember.
But it just started with that, and then the third person was gonna be Kairi Sane, which was like no. But no. Eventually, the rest of the NXT girls came in to, stand their ground, and then boom, we had to carry on from that.
A nice moment where NXT sort of planted the flag in the ground and just went, "We are the next generation. Please take note of us.
We are next." Lol, lol, lol.
But eventually it would lead to the actual storyline that was meant to be covered in this battle royale, which is the feud between Bayley and Sasha Banks, which eventually did come to them almost, because we had Sasha get eliminated by Bayley after Bayley swerved out of a handshake with Sasha, and then Bayley thinking that she won. We found out that Naomi was not eliminated.
Roman sleeping.
Naomi corpsing. Sent for the man.
But Naomi got the win. That's her second win in a row. She won the title last year, and she wins the Battle Royale here.
Now,
she's definitely a favorite for the company. I definitely know that.
Absolutely. Actually, thing to note from the predictions, I think we all kind of mentioned this in a management, because we kind of forgot Naomi when we were discussing it.
Yeah.
And then when she won, we all kind of went, damn, we should. I think it's probably the one we were kicking ourselves the most over, actually, probably forgetting.
Well, you see, the thing was, I was the most closest because I was focusing on the main angle that was going into that match. But I just obviously, Naomi. Of course,
close doesn't work. But it just happened to be that we had Bayley ran full force into that rear view. I mean, her face pretty much went straight up Naomi's ass. I like way somebody put it. I was reading, the various reports, and somebody put it that Bayley finally turning heel, maybe. Although I put it because they got a huge reaction from the crowd when she threw Sasha over, because it was the ultimate finality of it all. That Bayley isn't going to be an idiot. Unfortunately,
Here's the thing: are they specifically not pulling the trigger on a Sasha Banks and a Charlotte heel turn because they know that's how those characters work? Are they specifically not doing it because of those reasons?
I don't understand why you wouldn't have two performers who are much better suited in the heel roles be heels.
It's bizarre to me. I don't think Bayley will ever work as a heel. It's not how her character type works. What's she going to do? Is she going to add a new submission move called the bear hug? La 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 la.
Which isn't a bear. Then it turns out to not be a bear hug.
Yeah.
That would be the good.
I'm just gonna hug your neck, squeeze.
Actually, yeah, a hug on the neck would be interesting. As I was
gonna say more a case of do the Yeti hug from the Looney Tunes.
Yeti.
It's like Looney Tunes kind of like in the second set. I will name her George, and I will hug her and crush her and squeeze her.
Tighten some alfalfa for the rabbits, and the way they put it was that Bailey went out. Bailey goes out of character, is smart and vengeful, and is immediately punished for going out of character by then losing.
Yeah.
So it's like she turns away from her own path for a minute, was actually successful, and then was immediately punished for it. How dare you go? It's the whole situation was odd because you had a face essentially gain advantage by being on sort of hiding on the outside, which is weird. It was a good fake out. It was okay. It did the job. There was also there's a great shot afterwards with Bailey sort of punching the mat and Sasha just looking at her like oh ho, so this is it, is it? So it's the stepping stone. What they're going to do with Bailey and Sasha in terms of heel and face, I don't know. Maybe Bailey will turn heel or try to be heel and will actually be like a really bad heel in a deliberate sense, that she's trying to be bad and that nothing she does is actually end up being bad.
That would be good, actually.
That would be different. That would be different. A face who decides to embrace the dark side, but actually their natural personality means that they're just not a heel, no matter what they do.
Well, yeah.
And my prediction of Becky. What for Becky now? Just waging war on Orange.
Exactly. We're gonna see her. She'll be going and taking on the fruit and veg aisle.
Tangerines!
She's gotta call out the Honor and Orange down the line. That's gotta be the next Mania feud.
That's it.
As close my witness carrot, you'll be broken in half.
Next celebrity feud. That's it. Anyway, that was the WrestleMania pre-show. We're gonna take a quick break. Whether you see this in your feeds quite next to the actual WrestleMania main card will be something to see. It depends. We are very busy boys, especially the one person who's editing the video, who's on my left.
He's on your right.
On my right. I don't know. I always forget how these videos are edited. But yes,
confusing.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, the socials will be on the screen. You listen to us enough that we don't need to keep talking about it. And Mr. Kevin can normally work out his stuff. They'll be on the iTunes feed as well, no doubt. Thank you very much for listening once again, guys, and we'll see you soon for the WrestleMania main card chat about.